so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being with us today. The logistics issue and supply chain issue is something that on the Senate side and at Senate Commerce Committee, we have paid a good bit of attention to because it is essential. If we have the goal, which we do, of repatriating and bringing back a lot of manufacturing in this nation, a consistent and ready supply chain is going to be necessary. And one of the things in Tennessee that I represent is very important to us is logistics. It's an entire sector of our state's economy. And we look at Memphis as being the real anchor in this. Memphis, Tennessee has all 5 Class 1 railroads. We have an enormous intermodal because we have the port on the Mississippi River, and we also have FedEx. In addition to this, and because of this infrastructure that is there on the river and at the airport and in the rail yard, we have an enormous trucking industry that is thriving. So we do look at it as air and river and rails and roads and the importance of that for our supply chain. Dr. Sheffi, I do want to come to you on this since part of your expertise is in logistics, and talk about the importance of establishing these intermodal hubs like we have done in Memphis.
Thank you very much. Let me suggest a book written by a young, good-looking professor called Logistic Clusters. I wrote it about 6-7 years ago. You can find it on Amazon, just saying. It's exactly this. It talks about, it also helped Ms. Hassan's idea of putting, because it's correct for almost any industry. When you put together, people think it's counterintuitive. Why would you put competing companies together next to each other? Well, look at the success of Silicon Valley. Look at the success of Hollywood. Look at the success of Wall Street. These are companies of the same ilk right next to each other because there's a flow of knowledge in coffee shop, in chance meeting between people that elevates the entire cluster. The same thing, and I spent a lot of time in Memphis. Fred Smith is a personal friend. And so Memphis is looming large in my book because it's a classic example of a very successful logistic cluster. And you say it has all modes of transportation, but it's not only this. Because it's such a good cluster, manufacturing has moved in. Because if you want to, today, if you want to fix your laptop, you can send it, you think it's Asus or Lenovo, you call them and you say, my laptop is not working. You say, put it in a FedEx envelope, send it to us. You're actually talking to another company, a third party that fixes the stuff. You send it at Monday night, and Wednesday at 10:30 in the morning, you get it fixed on your desk because the company moved in. Medtronics, if you need a spine surgery, the doctor needs a few tools, but he doesn't know which ones until he opens you up. Not a good thought, but it's the truth. So they call Medtronics. Medtronics sent a kit.
Yeah, well, let me jump in here. I love the fact that you're talking about our industries there. Dr. Rodriguez, I wanted to see if you had anything you wanted to add on the importance of these intermodal hubs as we look at expansion. And Senator Cantwell and I have legislation, the Promoting Resilient Supply Chains Act, over on the Senate side, which would try to foster some of this. So I'd like to get you to weigh in on this.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Indeed, to segue on, I would say, the authority on this issue. The concept of co-location and accessibility provided by transportation is a very important factor. It creates multiplying effects, and it creates, as we mentioned, these clusters. And once these clusters are created, what we found out is they cannot be easily dismantled. It takes a lot of time, and that's segueing into what China has done. China has created a massive amount of manufacturing and logistic clusters in all segments of manufacturing. In the shoemaking, the toy.
Yeah, my time has expired, but I appreciate that and note that we are doing that without a government overriding impact. We are doing it via the private sector without an industrial policy.